Months passed after Belinda's sentencing. The city slowly moved on, chasing after newer scandals and fresher gossip. But for Prince, moving on wasn't that easy. He tried to return to school, but every corner of campus reminded him of whispers, stares, and laughter. Some pitied him, others mocked him. To many, he was no longer Prince the chairman, the popular boy who drove the nicest car. He was that boy Belinda locked up. His parents begged him to continue his education, but depression clung to him like a shadow. Therapy sessions helped little. At night he still woke up drenched in sweat, his breath racing, his chest tightening as if the walls were closing in. Meanwhile, Belinda adjusted to her new reality behind prison walls. The once elegant businesswoman who hosted parties for politicians now stood in line for food, wore uniforms, and answered to guards. Some inmates admired her for her past wealth, some despised her, but most treated her as one of their own. Yet deep down, she remained defiant. She wrote letters, vowing to appeal her sentence. She told anyone who would listen that she loved Prince, that she never meant to harm him, that it was all a misunderstanding. But no one outside believed her anymore. The scandal had destroyed her empire. Businesses she once controlled collapsed, her properties seized, her name reduced to tabloid gossip. As for Prince, something unexpected happened. Slowly, out of his pain, a different kind of strength began to grow. One day, invited to speak at a youth program, he reluctantly shared his story, not the flashy parts of being spoiled by a sugar mommy, but the dark reality of what it cost him. The hall went silent as he described the hidden room, the fear, the emptiness of living as someone's possession. That night, he received messages from young men and women across the city. "Your story saved me. I was about to get into the same kind of arrangement, but you opened my eyes. Thank you for being real." For the first time, Prince felt that his suffering wasn't wasted. His scars became his message. He began speaking more, in schools, on TV, at youth conferences. Slowly, he built a new identity. Not as the campus chairman, not as the boy trapped by Belinda, but as a survivor, a warning, and a teacher. Belinda, on the other hand, watched all this unfold through newspapers and the small prison TV. Every time she saw him speaking, her heart tightened. She had lost everything, yet she couldn't let go. Her obsession hadn't died, it had only changed form. And so, while Prince built his life on the outside, Belinda began plotting from the inside. She whispered to her lawyer, wrote letters in secret, made calls when she could. To her, the story wasn't over. But for Prince, the question remained, was he truly free? Or was Belinda's shadow still waiting to rise again? Belinda's appeal was denied. The court dismissed her case, saying the evidence was too strong. That should have been the end of her, but Belinda was not the type of woman to fade into silence. Behind bars, she built influence. Money still talked, even in prison. Guards gave her favors, inmates ran errands for her. Slowly, she created a small empire within the walls. One evening, she whispered to a trusted visitor, her younger brother, a quiet man who had always lived in her shadow. "Prince ruined me," she said, her voice low but sharp. "If I can't have him, he shouldn't have peace." Her brother nodded without a word. From that moment, the obsession didn't die, it transferred. Meanwhile, Prince's life was finding direction. He had started a foundation, Freedom Talks, aimed at mentoring young people about toxic relationships, exploitation, and control. Universities invited him to speak. TV stations booked him for interviews. He was slowly becoming a respected voice. Yet behind his speeches, he carried fear. He checked his locks every night. He jumped at sudden noises. In every crowd, he scanned for familiar faces. One rainy evening, after giving a talk at a youth center, Prince stepped out to his car. The parking lot was half empty. As he opened the door, he noticed a folded piece of paper tucked under the wiper. Curious, he pulled it out. His heart froze. Written in neat handwriting were 3 chilling words. "Still mine. B." Prince dropped the note as his hands shook violently. He looked around, but the lot was empty, only rain pouring on the asphalt. Panic consumed him. Was Belinda behind this? She was still in prison, wasn't she? Or had someone else left it there for her? The next days were worse. Anonymous calls came at midnight, silent on the other end. A bouquet of flowers arrived at his foundation's office with no sender's name. Each card carried the same message, "Still mine." He reported it to the police, but they found nothing concrete. No fingerprints, no cameras catching the culprit. They dismissed it as pranks. But Prince knew better. He could feel her shadow creeping closer again. Belinda's brother had started his mission. He lurked in the background, watching, waiting, sending small reminders that Prince would never truly be free. And as Prince stood before another auditorium weeks later, speaking about freedom and love, his eyes caught a figure at the back of the hall. A man in a dark jacket, staring straight at him, not blinking. When their eyes met, the man smiled faintly, and then vanished into the crowd. Prince's voice faltered. For the first time in months, the fear returned with full force. He realized something terrifying: Belinda might be locked up, but her reach was not. The game wasn't over. It was only beginning. That night, Prince couldn't sleep. His mind replayed the stranger's faint smile over and over. It wasn't random. It was deliberate, almost like a warning. He tried convincing himself it was paranoia, but deep down he knew Belinda's shadow had returned. Days later, Prince's foundation organized a youth summit in Accra. Hundreds gathered. Cameras flashed, the air electric with anticipation. Prince delivered one of his strongest speeches yet. But even as the crowd applauded, his eyes kept darting to the exits. He felt haunted. After the event, he lingered backstage. That's when a guard approached him. "Sir, this envelope was left for you at the gate." Prince opened it. Inside was a single photograph, a grainy shot of him walking to his car 2 nights earlier. On the back, written in the same neat handwriting, "You can't run from love." His chest tightened. This wasn't just obsession anymore. It was surveillance. Someone was following him, documenting his movements. He went straight to the police, demanding protection. The officer sighed, shaking his head. "Prince, without proof of threat, our hands are tied. It's just words and pictures. Nobody's attacked you yet." Yet. The word echoed in his head. Meanwhile, in prison, Belinda sat in the visitor's room. Her brother slid a small package across the table. Inside were newspaper clippings of Prince's speeches, photos of his events. She caressed the paper as if it were his skin. "He's thriving," she whispered, her eyes dark. "He thinks he's free." She looked up at her brother. "Don't let him forget me. Remind him, he belongs to me." Her brother nodded slowly. "Consider it done." Back outside, Prince's paranoia grew. He stopped going out at night. He hired private security for his parents' house. He even considered shutting down his foundation. But the turning point came one evening when his closest friend, Kwame, called in panic. "Prince, someone just broke into my apartment. They didn't take anything. But they left this on my bed." Kwame sent him a picture. It was a doll, bound with ropes, its mouth taped shut. And pinned to its chest was a note. "Next time, it won't be a doll." Prince's blood ran cold. This wasn't just psychological torment anymore, it was escalating. His friends were now targets. He knew one thing for certain: if he didn't act fast, someone close to him would get hurt. And far away, in her prison cell, Belinda leaned against the wall, smiling faintly as if she could already see it unfolding. Prince rushed to Kwame's place that night. The sight of the doll tied up on the bed made his stomach churn. It was a replica of how he had once been tied in Belinda's secret room. Whoever left it knew his deepest trauma. This wasn't random, it was personal. Kwame paced the floor, angry and scared. "Prince, this isn't just about you anymore. They're dragging me into it. If you don't fight back, they'll keep coming." Prince clenched his fist. He had spent months running, hiding, hoping the nightmare would fade. But now, he realized something: Belinda's reach wasn't just haunting him, it was haunting him. The next morning, he contacted a private investigator, a retired detective named Mr. Teta. Known for his bluntness, Teta listened quietly as Prince laid out everything, the notes, the photos, the door. After a long silence, Teta leaned back. Belinda may be in prison, but obsession doesn't end with bars. Someone is acting on her behalf. We'll start by watching them while they watch you. That same night, Teta set up hidden cameras around Prince's apartment. He placed GPS trackers under his car, not for Prince, but to detect anyone following him. 3 nights later, the trap worked. At 2:47 a.m., motion sensors outside the apartment triggered. A hooded figure appeared on camera, circling Prince's car, touching the windows, and then slipping a note under the windshield. The man didn't steal or damage anything, he only left the message. When Prince retrieved it in the morning, his hands trembled as he read. "She dreams of you every night." Teta zoomed in on the footage. Though the man wore a mask, his build and walk were distinctive. "We'll find him," Teta muttered. Within a week, they did. The hooded figure was Belinda's younger brother, the same one who visited her in prison. His name, Caleb Mensah. No criminal record. A businessman on paper, but quietly known for shady dealings. Prince felt his blood boil. "So it's him. He's the one tormenting me." Teta nodded. "Yes. But the bigger question is, what does Belinda want? Because Caleb isn't acting alone. He's her shadow. And shadows don't move without the body." That night, Prince received a call from an unknown number. He almost ignored it, but something made him answer. The line crackled, and then, her voice. Smooth, calm, chilling. "Hello, Prince." His breath caught. "Belinda. How are you calling me?" She chuckled softly. "Prison doesn't stop me. Did you think walls could keep me away? I told you once, you're mine. That hasn't changed. You can run, you can hide, you can even lie to the world, but you never escape me." Prince froze, his chest pounding. For months he had lived in fear of her shadow. Now he realized the truth, the shadow still had a master. And she was reaching for him again. Prince's hand shook so badly he nearly dropped the phone. Her voice, soft and controlled, cut through him like a knife. "You thought the world pitied you," Belinda continued, her tone almost tender. "But I know the truth, Prince. You miss me. You miss the way I cared for you, the way I kept you safe. Out there, you're nothing but a broken boy pretending to be a man. But with me, you were everything." Prince's throat tightened. He wanted to scream at her, curse her, but his voice cracked. "You destroyed me, Belinda. You locked me in like an animal." There was a pause. Then she whispered, "And yet, you survived. Stronger. Sharper. That's why you belong to me. No one else deserves you." The line went dead. Prince stood frozen, staring at the phone as if it might come alive again. His chest heaved, anger mixing with fear. He ran to Teta, who immediately traced the call. "It came from a burner phone," Teta explained grimly. "But the signal bounced near the prison. She's pulling strings from inside. And if she's reaching you directly now, it means she's escalating. She won't stop at threats." Prince buried his face in his hands. "So what do I do? Keep hiding. Keep waiting." Teta's eyes hardened. "No. You fight. If Belinda wants control, we break her grip. We set a trap for Caleb first." A week later, the plan was in motion. Prince agreed to speak at another university event, but this time, cameras and undercover officers were planted everywhere. They were sure Caleb would make a move. And he did. As the crowd cheered Prince's speech, Caleb lingered at the back, watching, his hood up. When the hall emptied, he followed Prince's car, not realizing every step was being monitored. Hours later, police cornered him in a dark street. He fought, but they pinned him down. In his pocket, They found another note, folded neatly. It read, "Bring him to me." The officers dragged Caleb to the station. But instead of relief, Prince felt only dread. Caleb was just the messenger. The real storm was still locked inside Belinda's mind. And sure enough, that night, Belinda called again. Her voice was calm. Almost amused. "They caught Caleb, didn't they?" she said softly. "It doesn't matter. Do you think prison makes me powerless? Prince. I have more brothers. More hands. More eyes. As long as I breathe, you will never escape me." Prince's blood ran cold. For the first time, he realized something terrifying: locking Belinda away hadn't ended her control. It had only concentrated it. And now, the war between them wasn't just about survival. It was about who would break first, the obsessed captor, or the broken survivor. Caleb sat in the interrogation room, silent. The officers tried everything: threats, promises, even lies, but he wouldn't speak. He just stared at the table, his jaw clenched. Hours passed. Finally, Detective Tete stepped in. He pulled out a photo of Prince, pale and trembling in that secret room months ago. He slid it across the table. "This is what your sister did. This is what you're protecting. Do you want to spend the rest of your life covering for her?" For the first time, Caleb's eyes flickered. His lips tightened. Then he whispered, "You don't understand. Belinda isn't ordinary. She doesn't love, she consumes. She'll never let him go. Even I can't stop her." Teta leaned forward. "Then help us. End this before more lives are ruined." Caleb hesitated, his fist trembling. Then he muttered, "She has a plan. She told me, when the time is right, she'll leave prison. And when she does, Prince won't survive it." Meanwhile, Prince struggled with his own demons. He tried to keep speaking at events, to keep up the image of a strong survivor. But every time he looked at a crowd, he felt her eyes on him. Every time he closed his door at night, he swore he heard her voice whispering his name. One evening, while reviewing security footage with Teta, something chilling appeared. A prison guard, one of Belinda's handlers, was caught slipping a sealed envelope into a courier's bag. Inside, a sketch. Hand-drawn. It showed Prince's apartment. Every detail accurate: the layout, the windows, even the back door. At the bottom of the page, in her flowing handwriting. Soon. Prince's hands went numb. She's planning to escape. Teta's jaw tightened. Or worse, she's planning to have someone brought to her. Either way, we're running out of time. 2 days later, chaos erupted. News broke that a prison riot had taken place. 3 inmates dead. Dozens injured. And in the middle of the confusion, Belinda was missing. The city went on high alert. Police checkpoints were set up everywhere. TV stations ran her face across the screen with the headline, "Dangerous businesswoman escapes custody." When Prince saw the news, his heart nearly stopped. It wasn't whispers anymore. It wasn't shadows. It was real. She was out. That night, as rain lashed against his window, Prince's phone lit up with a single message. No number. No name. Just one line. "I'm coming home." The city was restless. Belinda's escape spread like wildfire. Radio hosts debated how a wealthy woman could slip out of one of the most secure prisons in the country. Social media exploded with theories, bribes, inside help, even political protection. But the truth was simpler: Belinda had planned this for months. Prince, meanwhile, could barely breathe. His parents begged him to leave the city, even the country. "Son, this woman will kill you," his father pleaded. But Prince shook his head. Running hadn't worked before. He knew Belinda would find him anywhere. Detective Tete tightened security around him. 2 armed officers now followed Prince wherever he went. But deep down, Tete knew protection wouldn't be enough. Belinda wasn't just dangerous, she was clever. She would wait, stalk, and strike when they least expected it. 1 week later, the first strike came. Prince returned to his apartment late at night. The guards checked the doors, cleared the rooms. Everything seemed normal. But when Prince entered his bedroom, his blood froze. On the bed lay a red silk robe. Belinda's robe. The same one she had been wearing the day she was arrested. Folded neatly. Pinned to it was a note, written in her delicate script. "Did you miss me?" The guards swore they hadn't seen anyone enter. The cameras showed nothing. It was as if the robe had appeared out of thin air. Prince collapsed against the wall, trembling. Belinda wasn't hiding. She was taunting him, playing her game in the shadows. The very next day, the city woke up to shocking news. A guard who once testified against Belinda had been found dead. Strangled in his own home. On the mirror above his body, written in lipstick, were 2 words. For Prince. The police panicked. This wasn't just an escape anymore, it was a vendetta. Belinda wasn't running away. She was clearing the path back to him. That night, Prince sat with Teta, exhausted and pale. "I can't do this anymore," Prince muttered. "She's everywhere. She'll kill me. And maybe that's what I deserve." Teta slammed the table. "Don't you dare say that. This isn't about what you deserve. It's about survival. You survived once, you'll survive again. But this time, you'll face her. No more running." Prince stared at him, tears in his eyes. "And what if I can't?" Teta leaned closer. "Then she wins. And if she wins, she won't stop at you. Your friends, your family, your foundation, she'll burn it all." Prince clenched his fist. For the first time since the ordeal began, a spark of defiance burned in his chest. He was done being prey. 2 nights later, the stage was set. Teta arranged a sting operation at an abandoned mansion Belinda once owned on the city's outskirts. They planted word that Prince would be there, alone, filming an interview. And as expected, she came. Belinda, dressed in black, her eyes wild but her smile calm, stepped into the empty hall. Her voice echoed. "Prince. I knew you'd come back to me." From the shadows, Prince stepped forward. His body shook, but his eyes didn't leave hers. For the first time, he wasn't hiding. "It ends tonight, Belinda." She tilted her head, smiling faintly. "No, my love. It begins again." High voltage boom. Now the showdown is finally happening, Prince versus Belinda, no more shadows. The abandoned mansion creaked with every gust of wind. Dust floated in the air like ghosts. Prince stood in the center of the hall, sweat trickling down his back, but his eyes locked on her. Belinda's heels clicked against the cracked tiles as she walked closer, her face half hidden by shadows. Her smile was calm, but her eyes burned with obsession. "I knew you'd come," she whispered, her voice like velvet. "You can't stay away from me, Prince. You belong here. With me." Prince's fist trembled. "I don't belong to you. I never did." Belinda tilted her head, studying him. "Then why are you shaking? Why do you look at me with those frightened eyes? Deep down, you know the truth, I'm the only one who ever truly saw you." Prince's voice cracked, but he forced the words out. "You didn't see me, you trapped me. You destroyed me. What you called love was a prison." Her smile faltered for the first time. A flicker of rage broke through the calm. "A prison," she hissed. "No. I gave you everything. I made you a king. And this is how you repay me." She took a step closer. Prince instinctively stepped back. Suddenly, a shadow moved. From behind a pillar, Caleb appeared, knife glinting in his hand. His eyes were wild, desperate. Prince froze. The trap was real now, Belinda hadn't come alone. But just as Caleb lunged, floodlights exploded across the hall. "Police! Drop the weapon!" Officers stormed in from every side, guns raised. Belinda didn't flinch. She only laughed, a low, chilling sound that echoed through the mansion. You see, Prince. Even now, they are all here because of you. You think you're free, but you never breathe without me in your lungs. Caleb roared and charged, but a shot rang out, his knife clattered to the ground as he was tackled by officers. Belinda raised her hand slowly, but her eyes never left Prince. Even as they cuffed her, dragged her to the floor, she whispered across the distance. This isn't over. You're mine, Prince. Always mine. Prince's knees buckled. He wanted to collapse, to let it all out, but Tete's hand gripped his shoulder firmly. It's over, son, the detective said. She's done. But deep down, as he watched Belinda's smile stretch even while in chains, Prince wasn't sure. The city roared with relief when the news broke. Belinda rearrested in midnight sting. Brother arrested too. TV stations replayed the footage of her being dragged out of the mansion in chains, her silk dress torn, her face still carrying that haunting smile. To the world, justice had been served again. But for Prince, peace didn't come so easily. That night, he sat alone in his apartment, staring at the robe Belinda had left on his bed. Even with her behind bars, he couldn't bring himself to throw it away. It wasn't love. It wasn't nostalgia. It was fear, the kind that lingers like smoke long after the fire is gone. Detective Tete visited him days later. She won't hurt you anymore, the old man said, pouring himself a glass of water. This time, her sentence will be life. No more appeals. No more games. Prince nodded slowly, but his eyes were hollow. Maybe. But her words, they stay. Even when she's gone, they stay. Weeks passed. Prince tried to return to normalcy. His foundation gained more support than ever before. Schools, organizations, even government agencies invited him to speak about toxic power and abuse. People saw him as a survivor, a beacon of strength. But behind closed doors, the nights were brutal. He woke drenched in sweat, Belinda's voice echoing in his head. Sometimes he swore he saw her reflection in mirrors, smiling faintly at him. Other times, he dreamed of the hidden room, the ropes, the silence, the darkness. One evening, after giving a powerful speech to a packed university hall, Prince lingered backstage, exhausted. A student approached him shyly with a notebook. Sir, can I get your autograph? Prince smiled faintly and reached for the pen. But when he opened the notebook, his blood ran cold. On the page was a single phrase, written in delicate, looping handwriting he knew too well. Forever yours, B. The pen dropped from his hand. His vision blurred. His breath quickened. The student blinked in confusion. Sir. Is something wrong? Prince grabbed the notebook, his hands shaking. The girl swore she hadn't written it, that she had bought the notebook just yesterday. And at the very bottom of the page, almost invisible, was a lipstick mark. Belinda's. Prince staggered out into the night air, his chest heaving. Maybe she was locked up. Maybe she wasn't. Maybe she had allies still playing her game. Or maybe she had planted herself so deeply in his mind that he would never escape, even if she rotted in prison forever. For the world, the story was over. But for Prince, the prison was still inside him.